Hey, good morning everybody. This is Ryland. Today we're going to pack up a draft horse, put in draft horse harness on, and I'm going to explain a few things you have to do to get adjusted the way it needs to be so it's comfortable for the horse and it doesn't hurt the horse. First thing we're going to do is put on the collar. This is a draft collar, completely different than a set of harness that has a breast collar on it. It's all in one piece. This goes on, and then we put the harness on, and that for pulling heavy loads, this is what you need. This is an adjustable collar. You'll adjust 3 different sizes by moving up and down the holes here, and they're very, very handy versus the old style that you couldn't adjust, because if you've got a horse and it's getting heavier, getting fatter, or if you go to work in a fat horse that gets slimmer, then you have a way to adjust it and not have to go buy a new collar. And the pad, this is a collar pad, you use it to help give it a little more cushion the inside against the horse's neck. My Johnny. Dale, you should back him up.
Back it up.
As you can see, I lay the collar pad over out of the way and I open it up enough to go over his neck. I always try to push it up on the head, closer to the head, so it gives you plenty of room to adjust. This is a new collar and they're stiff. First thing to do is to buckle your collar together so it doesn't fall apart, because if they fall apart, then they can break right here. When they do that, then your collar's hurt. You can't use it for anything. So you always want to hang on to that collar, don't let it fall apart. Collar that fits properly, and this collar just, I can go up another hole maybe and hit it. Get the collar adjusted properly. You want to be able to slide your hand flat through there between the throat and the collar, this is pretty good. So collar's fitting good, and whatever, we're going to go move to the harness. The way I'm explaining how to do this is the way I was taught whenever I was young by neighbors, my father, and whatever. Since I'm pretty short, and this horse is not very tall, so it makes it a whole lot easier for me about harnessing. But the easiest way to get your harness on is to get a hold of the hame that goes to the far side, put it across the neck, and that way it'll lay there. Then you can walk back here, and you can put all your harness on and straighten it up. I get my harness laying up on there, not worried about what it looks like right now. I go back to the front, and I put my collar hames in the collar. Dale, if you would put that one over there for us. This is what I do the very first thing. That way if the horse moves, he might slide the harness off of his butt, but all of the harness will stay on his back. If you would come around here in front, and I'm going to explain to you just a little bit about the hames. The hames we want to fit in the collar. We don't want them. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We don't want, see if this is let out, you can adjust 3 inches here on these hames. So you got it down low, we'll keep this pulled back up into the bottom of the collar. If we had it out longer, then it would fit like this, which it won't stay in the collar like that. It needs to sit in the collar with the contour of the collar, and that way it'll stay in there. Not only does it do that, but it also puts the draft, which is the pressure that the horse is putting on his shoulders to move a load, it puts it in the right position on his shoulder, which is right above the point of his shoulder. Get this buckled on, and then you move to the back. Get everything straight. Get everything laying in place. Now, what I'm explaining to you is the way that I like to do it. You can do it different ways or whatever, but this is what I've done most of my life. I've had draft horses. This is the way I've always done it, and that's what I'm going to explain to y'all that I think works the best. I like my spiders to be up on top of the rump like this. And to do that, Dale, let's take it up one hole over there. If we're going to move it, we're going to shorten this strap by moving this buckle back. And that will put the spiders up on top where they need to be. It also pull this up where it needs to be. If your breeching gets down too low, and this is what the horse has to have to hold back a load. If it gets down too low, if it's down, let's say, if it's down here, then this, if it goes down a hill and it's holding back hard, can actually pull the back legs out from under them. So you never want that to be too low. You want that to be on up somewhere in this area. The back pad, whenever you adjust it, you want it to be long enough so it doesn't carry any weight whenever they're under a load. From the point of his shoulder here, where the draft is, you want this to be in a straight line. So if I was using a plow, which would be down low, then I don't, so this is let out pretty long enough. This is a trace carrier. All it does is keeps this trace from getting down in under his legs. But you want it down low enough so that you're pulling plow or sleigh or something up, that it doesn't put pressure on the rump or on the back. It's all going straight to the front.
Yeah, I've used it.
This is a breast strap, and this piece added onto it is called a choke strap. This goes on the bottom of the hames.
It'll work on it easy. Don't press.
And adjusting this, let me move him around for just a little bit. In adjusting this, simplest, easiest, and the best way to keep it adjusted properly is to follow your hame, that line. Come right down the hame, and you want this to come straight down, as straight as possible. If you do that, it won't pull the hame out of the collar, which if you got too long that's pulling up here, then he'll actually separate the hame out of the collar. So we don't want it too long. We don't want it too short, because wait, we're going to hook it up here. We're going to hook the choke strap to the quarter straps, one on each side. And this harness is just a little bit tight here, so we're going to lift it up.
You could pull the hands out of there.
back to the front and I'll explain here. As you can see, this is too tight. What it will do, it will pull this forward enough, keep it tight, and it will actually rub the hair off the horse. But if you'll get everything lined up with the hang, it gives it just exactly enough room back there that the horse can walk and it extends its back legs back, that it doesn't rub the hair off. So we're going. Dale, do you want to loosen it here or
Whatever you want.
just do it right here? New harness is just like new shoes. They're not broke in and they can be aggravating to adjust. So as you can see there, we've got that at the angle that we want. Straight with the hangs. Yeah, if you just hang on that right there a second. As you can see, it's got it pulled up tight. We can adjust it like I did up there on the choke strap, or you can adjust it here at the first step, whichever one you want to do. It doesn't matter. But you want to get at least that much. If you get that any looser, horse is standing around, he can actually catch his hoof in this, and then you got a mess. But with that up there perfectly in line with the hang, then that sits all this back like it ought to be. And with this pulled up where it should be, it's actually got the britches pulled up where it should be. And this is still perfect in line like we want it to be. The belly band is not like putting a girth on a saddle. On a saddle, the girth is what keeps the saddle on. That's pretty much about all this does on a harness, is sort of help keep it on. But you don't want that too tight, because if you're going over uneven land, you don't want it pulling up on like this on the horse's belly. They don't like that very much. So if you'll keep that loose enough where I can get my hand in there with, pretty easy. And that lets this down just a little bit. As you can see, the way he's parked there, if he was to reach up, he could almost catch that. If it was looser, then he would catch it. But if he's hooked up, then it's got it up out of the way. Like I said, the trace carrier, pretty much if you hook it out, let the trace go out and go down towards the ground, pretty close to the ground, and get all the weight off of this, then that's good enough, because most always it's going to be picked up anyway. Anything that's got a tongue on it, which is higher where you hitch to it, then that's going to be loose. So really, that's got that good enough. Adjusting the breeching, like I said, this is where I like my breeching right now. This is where I like my breeching to fit at. It's actually, his breeching has been down to here, because you can actually see a mark in the hair where it's rubbed it a little bit, but it won't rub it. It's up this high now. And that's what, but harnessing or doing anything with a horse, you want the horse to be comfortable. You don't want something hurting him. You want him to be comfortable, so he'll be quiet, be easy to work with, whatever. So anything you can do to make the horse comfortable, whatever, and still be safe, I feel like it's the right thing to do. Dale, it's your horse. I'm gonna let you drive it.
Out on the side of you.
You've seen him right whenever he was putting the bit up. He put the bit between his teeth, and he actually took his fingers and sort of opened his mouth up so he would accept the bit easier.
Here. There you are. Yep.
He's hooking the throat latch there. We're gonna let Dale go ahead and do this. Then we're gonna critique how he's got it adjusted. He has a wrinkle here, which is a little bit more. Let me start at the top.
Right.
you want the blinders, you want his eyeballs to be in the middle of that blinder, right in here. Which that's pretty close. How close you're going to get it, to be honest. So if you got it in the middle, then he can't see over, and what he sees in under it, it really doesn't bother him. But if he sees over top of his blinder, for some reason that tends to scare a horse. Dale, I think we're gonna let the bit down one hole right here.
All right.
Let's do that on
Both sides.
See, it's still got a little wrinkle there, but it's not quite as tight as it was originally. Now, to me, I like that fit a little better than I did the way it was fitting to start with.
Okay. For people that don't know, if you'll hold his lip up, a lot of people think their teeth is like ours, if they've not been around a horse or livestock.
He actually has a place
There's
in
a
his
gap.
teeth.
Yep.
Yeah, he has teeth on back. All of his teeth back here, a lot more teeth back here than it does in the front.
Yeah.
The front teeth is used to eat the grass or pick up a piece of corn or whatever. Is to do that, and then they'll take their tongue and transfer it back to the grinding teeth, which are back here. They actually have a place that the bit will fit, not bumping a tooth or anything, so it should be very comfortable right there.
But that's where he put his thumb in. He
did.
didn't
He
whenever
sure
he
did.
was putting that bit
He sure
in.
did. He took his fingers and he opened his mouth up a little bit so he wasn't, the horse would accept the bit
Yep.
willingly.
Just for y'all that don't, that y'all are watching this, it's each animal has their own set of teeth, different way that it's set. So don't go sticking your fingers in animals' mouths that you don't know where their teeth are.
You won't do it but once.
Right.
Throat latch.
Yep.
I've seen people do this completely. Everybody does it different. I have a theory on it. If I can take a hold of that bridle and I can pull that bridle off, if I can pull it off, he can rub it off. And trust me, you don't want him rubbing the bridle off. I've had that to happen a couple times, and you better hope if it happens, if you're back there driving something, you don't turn it loose. You hold onto the lines and you keep the bit pulled up in the mouth. So if you can pull it off, that means they can rub it off. So after having a couple bridles rubbed off, I figured out it doesn't hurt a thing to go ahead and tighten this up a little tighter. Is that where you hit, Dale?
No. Yeah. Second dog.
All right. I'm gonna move this over here up a hole.
Yeah.
Now, if I try real hard, I can probably still pull it off, but it's gonna be much harder to get off, and it's pretty snug. But I strongly suggest when you put that bridle on, I've seen people have them just barely hook them. They're not even. I've actually seen people not even have them on their bridle, which to me is the worst thing you could possibly do. As far as whenever you're starting to put the harness stuff on, I asked Dale, did he like to put the bridle on first or last? It doesn't really matter. It's more to do with the horse, what he's used to. If I'm breaking young horses, I like to leave it off so they can watch what I'm doing. It tends to be less scary to them. But it doesn't really matter. Put it on first or last, doesn't matter at all. This is the most important part of the horse. If you're going to have sores, anything, skip places or whatever, it's going to be whether the load is against his shoulder. When you hitch a horse to something, they pull that along with them, but the horse is actually pushing. He's actually pushing against the back of his collar, and then all this is hooked to the load, so he's actually pushing the load. If you want to be really precise about it, he pushes the load, the harness pulls it. But I think Dale's about ready to go do some work now.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.